Again, so the yellow sign, the round sign, telling us that, warning us that there's a crossing ahead, and the actual crossbuck is telling you that's right where the crossing is. That exempt sign there, what do you suppose that means? No clue?
What do school buses have to do at railroad crossings?
Anybody ride a school bus? No?
Gasoline tankers?
Yeah. So any type of vehicle, any type of commercial vehicle that hauls 15 or more people, or a vehicle like a tanker, anything that carries a flammable or a caustic type material, so like propane tanks or some sort of acid or ammonia, whatever it is, or a school bus, like a coach bus, like a tour bus, the big tour bus that you see. They normally would have to stop at all the at all the railroad crossings, except if we see that exempt. Okay. But as a school bus driver, I'm going to tell you right now, that has to be right there. If this exempt sign is here but not there, we still have to stop. Okay. So by state law, it has to be right there. So that's the one thing you need to be aware of is, and you're going to get into this a little further on when you talk about trains and stuff, but so certain vehicles, if you see them turn on their four-way flashes or their hazards as they're coming to that means they have to stop. So you need to be aware that there's certain vehicles that have to stop at that railroad crossing, whether you do or not. Okay, that makes sense? Right, and then you get into that in greater detail about the crossing of railroad crossing and that. Multiple tracks, so when we cross multiple tracks, we got to make sure we're looking for could be multiple trains, okay? Just because the one set of tracks is clear, the other set might not be, so be aware of that as well. All right, so school zone warning signs, they have a specific shape too. They look like home plate, right? Shaped like a pentagon. The colors are either yellow or it could be like that, kind of like that. It's like a green, like a lime green almost. How would you describe it? The top one is a school zone. The lower one's the actual crosswalk for the school zone. See, you notice a little change there with the crosswalk. What about the school speed limit sign there? Whenever children are present, what do you suppose that means? During school hours, right? You might not see children exactly, but if it's a school day, I would obey that speed limit sign. Question?
So what if it's during the summer and there's kids around?
If I see children present, period, I'm going 15 miles an hour. But that's just me.
No, that's the law.
That is the law. Right?
Yes.
But I'm just saying, that is the law.
Not just on school days, not just during school hours, whenever children are present.
Right.
State law is really poorly written. So
Right.
It's up to the local police department how they enforce it, so we go with the most conservative.
Right.
So if you see a kid, that's children.
So if there's only one children present, you
Yes.
still have to stop?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll just, yeah.
And
The other
especially,
thing is that we don't have it here, but some of them say instead of whenever children are present, say when lights are flashing and there are lights on the top, they're awesome because you see the lights, you look at the sign and you have
pop,
to
it
stop.
makes that sign pop. Yeah.
There's some dumb ones out appearing now, including over in front of Providence. It says that this applies between 7:15 and 7:47 in the morning and between 11:10 and 1:06 in the afternoon. By the time you read that, you remember you're a sick kid. So I'm hoping that they'll stop.
Right.
But there's different versions.
In another case too, there might be, if it's an elementary school, what's typically present at elementary school you're not going to see at a high school? Recess, but what about, what are they going to have there? Playground, right? They're going to have a playground. So these are definitely going to be more prevalent by elementary schools where we have a playground, because kids could be using that playground because they don't necessarily have to be school hours for them to use the playground. That makes sense. All right, pedestrian control signs, diamond shape, yellow or the yellow green. We have to yield to pedestrians that are actively crossing the street. Okay. Does that mean pedestrians should obey the traffic laws? They do as well. They also have signs as well, right? Okay. Are there certain, so no pedestrian, there's supposed to be no pedestrian where they can cross. Is there a situation where that would be the case? I was wondering, you probably have a case, don't you?
Me?
Yeah.
It might be dangerous for them to cross.
Right. Might be a,
High-speed highway, they don't want people crossing every way so you can't cross.
correct.
Here, as drivers, we probably won't see that.
We wouldn't see this, but yeah, as a pedestrian, though.
If they're there, we're going to treat it the way we would if they were allowed to cross.
Correct. All right, the no passing zone, what is unique about this sign?
It's on the left side of the road.
Ooh, very good.
Ding dong.
Right, boom, nailed it. Okay. It's located on the left side of the road, so why? That's the question. Why would it be located on the left side of the road?
What's it
Well, it's-
pointing at?
Well, it's pointing this way, and it's like, well, there are lines in the middle. I've noticed them, and then it's kind of weird. I don't really get it as well.
He's almost there. That's,
He is so totally observant on that for not being in the car yet as a driver.
so,
We started co-driving yesterday.
Cool.
okay. So, 2-lane road, and if we want to pass, we're going to move into what lane? We're move in the left lane to pass? So where does your focus typically go? It's going to go to the left side, right? So the no passing zone sign is going to be on the left-hand side, right? It has a specific shape too. They call it the pennant. It's also yellow. It also marks the beginning of the no passing zone. Again, just like you were talking about. So now at that particular point, we're going to talk about this in the next section, but the road markings are going to change. In your particular side of the road, that line is going to be a solid yellow line indicating that we cannot pass there, right? A solid yellow line. Okay, one good thing here they put in the slide is you might not understand why there's a no passing zone there, and especially at night, because at nighttime our view is obstructed, or not obstructed, that's a bad word. Our view is limited because of the darkness, right? So we might not specifically see why there's no passing zone there. It could be a hill, curve, there's a driveway, there's something there that they don't want us passing on the left-hand side there. So in this picture here, can we see a reason why there's a no passing zone there? Blow it up for you. What do we see up here?
On the bridge?
What's that?
Is it on the bridge?
Not necessarily the bridge.
It's like a
There you go.
Well, if you pass to the left and you fall on grass?
No. No, because we'd be in this lane here. Okay. We'd be in the right-hand lane.
Wait, we're going this way?
We're going, if we're going this way, we're going up the hill.
Oh, because there's a...
We're in the right-hand lane, yeah.
There's a cell phone.
Well, yeah, the cell line, yeah, obviously, that indicates, because in that previous slide, they had the no passing zone there. It's just, why, but why? Why would you think this, it's not so much, we've already, we know it's a no passing zone, but what I'm asking is, trying to find out
Always
why.
on hills, you can't see people coming.
That's the exact answer that we're looking for. There's a hill up there, you see there might be a vehicle there that's just cresting the hill, but there's also a dip here, right? So there's a couple spots where, for a moment, we will not be able to see an oncoming car. Maybe at night you might be able to see the lights or not, but during the day we definitely would not be able to see a car coming. All right, slow moving vehicle sign. These are for vehicles that travel less than 30 miles an hour. This is also a possible permit test question. Okay, again, a specific shape. It's an inverted triangle, the corners are cut off, as you can see there. What kind of vehicle is that right there?
Street cleaner.
Street sweeper, right? So they would have it. Any other vehicles that you've seen that have on it? Tractors, anything else? If you were to travel through Wadena, Minnesota, I don't know if anybody's been through Wadena or not, but there's an Amish community, so the horse and buggies there, they have those triangles on the back as well. All right, so our intersections ahead signs, so what's the difference between these two signs? What are we doing in these two signs?
Well, on the top one, we're stopping probably because there are cars coming from either side of you, left and right, probably. And if you're gonna turn or something,
Well, that top sign, are we gonna have to turn?
yeah, you're gonna have to turn.
Are you gonna say, right, we have to turn, right? So it's whether or not, what we're gonna do versus the bottom one, that's a four-way intersection, right? Okay, plan on stopping at the T, right? Before we can turn left or right, yeah, yielding to traffic, unless there's a yield sign, because it's gonna depend. The bottom one, that's our four-way intersection, plan on yielding. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to stop. Once you get closer, you have to be able to indicate whether we have a stop sign, a yield sign, what, traffic light, could be anything there. So we have to wait for additional signage to figure out what we have to do there. So what do those symbols mean?
The shape of the road.
What's that?
The shape of the road.
Shape of the road? So that upper left one, what does that mean? Sharp turn, right? Because of the shape of the arrow. Versus the middle one is what? You can say it. A little more gradual. It curves, but yeah. Versus the bottom one. Where would we see a sign like that, you think?
Country road.
Country road, maybe you're going between a couple of lakes and a resort, little resorts or whatever, something like that maybe. So that sign on top, a sharp curve, generally 15 to 25 miles an hour. And they may even post a speed limit there, or a suggested speed limit that they want you to go. You have your gradual curve, and then you go curve to the road, we have to slow down. The chevron, so what do these things, or what do these signs mean?
It's gonna be like gradual turning. Well, be aware. There's a turn up ahead. Oh no, doesn't mean it. Oh, okay. No.
It does mean there's a turn.
It does mean you're a turn, but when you see these, it means you're turning, because these are gonna be right at the turn. So whether you're at a cloverleaf, even a parking ramp, when you go down you're gonna see those chevrons, so that's the difference between these, okay? They mean the same thing. You're turning. It's just, these are gonna be right at the turn, whereas these are warning you there's a turn ahead.
Chevrons are used when the turn is more dangerous and so it's sharper, or it's difficult to see. It might be on the reverse bank where you can't see.
Right,
As you come
right, so
or the radius might change. Or downtown Minneapolis, there's one, you come off the freeway, you come up, it's a sharp turn, hard to see in certain lights, and there's a traffic light right there. So when you see those things,
yeah, that's a warning. Yeah,
By the way, the bigger it is, the more mistakes have been made. There's some in Woodbury, I swear they are 8 feet tall.
and you might see a single chevron, or in my
series.
city where I work, we have one intersection or one curve where we have 27 of them in a row.
Whoa.
And we had one car take out 11 of them. And when he took out 11 of them, and then finally they completely lost it and rolled the car 3 times into the farm fields. That was the 3rd time through the intersection or through the curve because it was going too fast.
Doesn't sound like much fun when you're
His
going
friend went out through
That's
the
not a good deal. Does this make sense? Because this could be a possible test question too for you guys. What the
So
difference
bottom one, it's up ahead. The other one, it's right here.
You're right here.
Here and now.
Here and now, exactly. All right, so divided highways. So what are the differences between those 3 signs? You know what a divided highway is? What? Everyone's going, yeah, but
So it's just like something in the middle, like it could be like a concrete barrier or like trees or.
A median?
Yep.
Exactly, yeah, that's what we're looking for. So that upper left sign there, what is that indicating for us? You think?
You're gonna try to take a ride for
We're about to enter the divided part. We're about to enter where the median is. The middle one is, we're coming off of it or we're leaving it, right? Turning and coming into two-way traffic. This bottom sign then indicates what for us. It's not divided, right? It's just, it's gonna be two-way traffic. All right, so advanced warning signs. Those two signs on the left, do they mean basically the same thing? So the stop sign here and the stop ahead, do they mean the same thing? It's just different. They're telling you differently. It's the same thing. How about these two here? Are they telling you the same thing? Right. Warning us what? The upper right one. What are they warning us here? Be a traffic light up ahead. What about here? Could be a change in speed limit, right? Maybe we're going 70, we're going 65, we're coming towards the town. There could be several of these transitions where they slow you down to 55 before they slow you down to 30. Be aware of these as well. Other warnings and crossing signs. There's a video somewhere on YouTube, I believe. We have it. You have, I'm sure we have it too. Yeah, with the deer crossing, where the lady calls in like, I don't understand why you put the deer crossing sign there, because the deer cross there, and it's kind of a dangerous part of the road. This one, what does that mean?
Play area or
It could be a right. Could be a playground up ahead. Be aware of that. Snowmobile crossing. Be aware of this one here. If we have to make a left-hand turn and there's a train coming there, we might, you have to look at the traffic lights. It could change. It could be blinking. That HPD light could be blinking, indicating that we can't make that turn until the train is passed. Be aware of that. Bicycles. Do they have to yield to us or do we have to yield to them? This is always the dangerous one, right?
well, since we have more control, don't we yield to them? Or well, we don't. We're a more powerful vehicle or something like that. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, right.
By the way, Minnesota is bicycle season 12 months of the year.
Yeah.
When you do your downtown lesson in January, February,
You wouldn't think.
you will be amazed at how many bikers are down there. Not motorcycles, bicycles.
Bikes, yeah, correct. All right, so what do these signs mean? That one in the upper left, what do you suppose that one means? Slippery and what? Yeah. When would we see a sign like that, you think? They're not just going to magically appear if it's snowing out or whatever, but where most likely we're going to see a sign like that? No, I'm talking about this sign right here.
When you're like on a curve,
Possibly.
then it gets white, you're just flying.
Right. The big one here though is bridges. Bridges are overpasses. Okay. With Minnesota, with the cold weather, if we get that sleety rain or whatever, and the wind can get underneath the roadway, so bridges with particularly a spot like that. The rest of the road might not be icy or frozen over yet, but the bridges and overpasses are usually the first sections of the road that are going to freeze over. You need to be aware of that, especially when you're winter driving. So when we cross over those, that you don't lose control of your vehicle. What about the soft shoulder? Where could we see that? What does that mean? We get her so active, see, it's crazy.
Gravel.
Right, exactly. So some of the two-lane roads, like especially in the country, we have the blacktop and then there's just a little bit of gravel and then you go off into the ditch. So to be aware of the soft shoulder. Pavement ends, can be the same thing. We might, when you get into the rural areas, the tarred road will end and then you're going to drive on gravel. What's the difference between a dip and a bump?
It does have
Some
some.
can go up.
The bump goes up, right, and the dip is,
Rick?
yes. Question?
Isn't there a certain speed you're supposed to go over to get the bump?
Good question. What do you think?
Yeah, just
What if there's no speed posted? What would you do?
Would you slow down or would you just go the same?
Speed up. How much excitement do you need in your
Yeah,
life?
right? How bad do you want to bottom the car out, right? So what would you do? So if it's not posted and you see a bump sign like that, what would you do? You
Yeah.
slow down, right? Good answer.
If you're paying for the repairs on your car, you slow down.
Your parents would greatly appreciate it if you were driving their vehicle and you slowed down.
Your pocketbook will appreciate it too.
Right? All right, hill signs. That top one warns us of coming to a steep hill. Now this one here where they have either put 8% or they have a sign below it, 9% grade for 7 miles. What do you suppose that means? Does that necessarily relate to us? More for the what? For the big trucks, the 18-wheelers? So what that's telling them is we have 7 miles where we got a 9% grade, meaning that for every 100 feet that we're dropping like 9 feet. And that what that tells them is they have to select a gear that they can shift into that the motor will help slow them down so they don't use the brakes for 7 miles because they'll burn the brakes up. And that would be very bad. We're typically not going to see this very much in Minnesota. We do have a couple spots. I think there's one in Duluth and there's a couple
Down
Taylor
south-
Falls.
southeastern Minnesota where that's very hilly.
And he said semis, but you have to be